Mobile water, unique in every way.
Years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM here in Accra. Also on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via our various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petroleum, Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams. Coming up, scores of patients left stranded today as nurses and midwives intensified their nationwide strike, withdrawing both outpatient department and emergency services at public health facilities across the country.
Me baby Trascan. Na me buy nurses from Bieni Hano.
Yeah, but yeah, nurses for no aqua strike. Sir, omuna buy a wasem. It's young
Well, we are on ground as government deploys police officers to protect nurses and midwives who have chosen to continue working.
Well, we got indication from most of them that they were being threatened by GNM members. We have asked that Ghana Police Service will provide some security for them to work. We are also asking that those who are on rotation clinicals would be at post.
However, the leadership of nurses and midwives say they remain undeterred by the government's actions as they continue to press for the full implementation of their conditions of service.
They think that they can use these old-fashioned methods to derail our progress. It shows clearly that they don't put premium on the life of the good people of Ghana, and they don't respect the nurses and midwives in Ghana. And we'll show them where power lies.
And you're hearing there the minority were marching to the police IGP to demand that arrangements are made for the Ablekman North constituency result collation. We'll bring you details of that. Also, backlash as some Ghanaians reject newly approved 1 cedi petroleum levy.
I can say the government came to destroy business.
We hear from the energy minister, who is arguing that the levy is a prudential fiscal intervention, with economist Professor Bokpin back in the move.
And so, yes, we would have wished to pass all the gains to Ghanaians. And that means that you would have to pay about 40 to 50% more.
This imposition would not impact consumers significantly.
We have details of that in sports.
Sports Minister Kofi Adams warns Ghana risks losing fans following violence in domestic football.
Also, pharmaceutical companies in Ghana announced 5 to 15% price cuts on essential medicines across the country, as they say the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi has already eased import costs in a sector heavily reliant on foreign currency.
And we also been told clearly that in days and in possibly weeks, this is going to take into effect. Latest by end of June.
These and more with me, Maame Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Stay for details. This afternoon, scores of patients were left stranded today as nurses and midwives intensified their nationwide strike, withdrawing both outpatient department and emergency services at public health facilities across the country. The escalation has brought healthcare delivery to a near standstill in many hospitals, with long queues of frustrated patients and overwhelmed skeletal staff struggling to manage critical cases. The nurses and midwives say the decision followed failed negotiations with government over unresolved conditions of service and welfare concerns. Let's get the latest. Let's go on the ground now and find out how this is impacting healthcare delivery. And my colleague Collins Yeboah is on the beat with us and joins us on the line. Collins, what are you picking up?
Maame, at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, it is a troubling situation for patients at the moment. And when you come to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, we have several outpatient departments, including the accident and the orthopedic, central maternity surgical, as well as the child health OPDs. And we visited all these places. At all these OPDs, services have come to a complete halt. And inside the wards, the impact is equally visible. It is difficult to support nurses actively attending to patients And also, in some areas, nurses were seen engaged in personal conversations while patients struggle to get assistance.
But Collins, has any of the management of the hospital spoken to patients at least to address the situation?
No management, no official from the Kolebo Teaching Hospital management have engaged the patient, but the information that we picked from the patient when we spoke to them is that the nurses rather spoke to them that they are not going to attend to them today, so they should find different facilities to go to.
All right. Thank you so much, Collins, who is reporting to us from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Let's head to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Love FM's Clinton Yabwa is on the beat there for us. Clinton, what can you report?
Maame, the strike at Kumasi has taken full effect, and when we go to Konkwano Teaching Hospital and the Children's Hospital, public health service,
Clinton, kindly reposition yourself. I can hardly hear you. The line is breaking. Come to us again. Reposition yourself and let's continue.
Action has taken full effect today, and when it comes to Konkwano Teaching Hospital and the Pampaso Children's Hospital, public service, public health service, antenatal care and postnatal care services have all been halted. And specifically at Pampaso Children's Hospital, which is a children's hospital, patients, including pregnant women, are being turned away, and those who are on recovery beds are also being discharged abruptly. This is leaving many stranded on the hospital facility, and some of them that we spoke to are very worried about how their situations could worsen if they head home without medical care.
Me baby trust can. Na me buy no nurses from beer ni hanu. Me ate me huni say ye ba hanu ma. Omo tu o mani mu ehwe kama. But ate scano mo die no em say esuenti ate ye ba hanu ma ya na aye atansi ya na aye bibi but ebi mo ti mo mani mu hwe kama yi. Omo ka bi ntien na omo so mo hwe. Ana die me ba an me nyahu doctor bia but me kuso a me pempem se de be ya me hu doctor ni ne ene na kasa
ya ba ya yes this is for no aqua strike asem na ba ye ni asem ya ba ye se omuna aban e wa asem enti yanko omanya hweye sebi apinfo enti se ordinary nipa enenam e wa abante no ho obi ho wo yare ne ho mfa na eduru asa wa ba hospital e wa se wa ba amunya edure enfam na mun check na ehwe ne pressure won apinfo no se wa ahodo obi ho no ho odin obi ho sa no ho nya din obi ho sa ne data asu se won bewo oba ya musem nhwe no se be amedina we say me yare pa pressure pa akọ soro be se me hu se na sitiye.
So you heard that some patients at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital in the Ashanti region saying that they've been told that no services will be rendered to them. They should go home. Well, let's head to the Volta region now. Ivy Setorji comes through for us. Ivy, what have you been picking up?
Well, according to our sources, some so the nurses working, where some of them are not. So as of now, some have decided to go to work and some have decided to stay back at home. Tomorrow, according to our sources, they don't know what is going to happen and whether or not all of them will absent themselves from work. So for now, a few of them are at football, others are at home.
Well, Ivy, we understand that some nurses wanted to work today. Did you see anything of the sort? Because the spokesperson for the health ministry also said they'll be providing some form of security to them who are willing to work today. Did you see anything of the sort?
Well, I was now in the work, some of them other places that I went to, some of them are there, some of them not working, some person sitting down, not doing anything exactly, but asking whether they are working in the world because some was not allowed in. I wouldn't know whether those at the world are actually working, but what we know is some of them as to whether they are really working. That is what we don't know, but some were not able to show us.
And as Ivy Setoji there, we apologize for the poor quality of sound coming in from our phone lines. We'll restore that and then get back to our other, correspondence. Meanwhile, government has deployed police personnel to various health facilities nationwide to protect nurses and midwives who have defied the union's directive and chosen to work. Now, the deployment, according to officials, is aimed at ensuring the safety of health professionals who have opted to remain at their posts amid rising tensions within the sector. His General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, David Tinkran.
The initial emergency services was not part. But looking at the intransigent posturing of the employer, we think that we need to send some signal, right? They are not averting their minds to our demands. They are eventually putting in, old-fashioned methods of intimidation and, trying to break our front and all that. Look, let me tell them, we've been at this for a very long time.
Is that what is happening?
Absolutely. I mean, they are putting in measures. They've called our colleagues, our brothers and sisters who are not part of this strike to stand in. Let me tell you something. Most of our brothers were the first to even put on the red band, those that they think will stand in for them. So what it means is that if you rush to a hospital with an emergency case, you will not be seen. If you maybe you have headache, you have abdominal pains, you are having a diarrhea, you want to move to the OPD to be seen by a nurse before perhaps you move into the consultation, you will not meet any nurse over there, all right, to provide those services to you before you see the medical officer. So, yes, for instance, antenatal care services will be completely removed. As I said, you go to hospital, you pick a card, you need to see a nurse to write your history before you are ushered into a consultation room. That type of services will not be given. If you come with emergency, you have to be triaged. Some of these advanced hospitals have triaging areas where perhaps based on the seriousness of your condition, you could be triaged as green, yellow, or red so that proper attention can be given to you. You won't find them there.
Spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Tony Goodman, also told my colleague Elton Brobe on the polls that steps have been taken to ensure service delivery at public hospitals.
We are not happy with that decision. We have asked them to rescind that decision so that we can have some further discussion. If they are mindful of the fact that their action would lead to loss of life, then they should come to the table and continue working. We have 6 nursing groups who are actually in this matter. We have one of them, which is a GRNMA, going on strike, and we have gotten indication from the rest of the 5 who said they are not going to demonstration or this strike. We have asked, because we got indication from most of them that they were being threatened by GRNMA members. We have asked that the National Ghana Police Service will provide some security for them to work. We are also asking that those who are on rotation clinicals would be at post and continue working while the DDNS and then the Director of Nursing supervises their work.
Well, at the heart of the standoff is the refusal of the Finance Minister to sign off on the agreed conditions of service. Listen to the Health Ministry spokesperson once again, Tony Goodman, and the Nurses and Midwives Association General Secretary, David Tinkran.
The document has not been signed to. That is what we have to also. That is a distinction we need to make.
The document has not been what? The document has not been signed?
Yes, after the negotiation, it's not been signed.
But by who exactly?
If it's been signed, we would have started the implementation. If it's been signed, or it was signed, we would have started the implementation. The Minister for Finance and the Minister for Health must sign before this document can be called or can be implemented. So that is where we are.
Because it's not been signed, your assumption is that finality has not been brought on it?
No, finality has not been brought on this matter.
And you heard the spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Tony Goodman, in an interview with my colleague Elton Brobe. And you heard the NPP MPs who have abandoned their cars and set foot to the police headquarters where they are expected to present a petition to the IGP. The minority are demanding immediate security arrangements to conclude the collation of outstanding parliamentary results in the Ablekuma North constituency. Ablekuma North is currently without representation in the House 6 months into the new parliament. Let's take you to the police headquarters where Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante is with the minority. Kweku, what more can you tell us about this protest march and the end game?
So, Maame, the petition itself has just been presented about 5 minutes ago by the minority leadership, the leader himself, Alexander Martin, together with the chief whip, Frank Anodom. They presented the petition to the police hierarchy, a team that included the Director General of the Criminal Investigation Department, who received the petition. They read the petition in full to the hearing of the media, and then proceeded to exchange pleasantries and handed over the petition. Their demand is clear. The Ghana Police Service must heed to the order of the High Court in this matter and provide the necessary security to the Electoral Commission to conclude the collation of the results. Listen to Frank Anodom, the minority chief whip, who read the petition to the police hierarchy.
Well, we'll come to that sound later, but has the police responded in any way to this petition?
Well, yes, they did. It was a very brief response that they have taken piece of the content of the petition. They have received it. They will forward this to the desk of the Inspector General of Police himself immediately. They are committed to ensuring that everything that needs to be done is done. And as soon as the the police, IGP himself makes a decision on this, it will be communicated to the minority as well as the public on this matter.
Right, thank you so much, Kweku Asante, following the minority at the police headquarters there. Well, there's been backlash from some Ghanaians who say they are against the newly approved 1 cedi petroleum levy. Parliament on Tuesday passed the controversial Energy Sector Levy Amendment Bill, which imposes 1 cedi on every litre of fuel. The bill, which was introduced under a certificate of urgency, faced stern opposition from the minority, who staged a walkout accusing the government of imposing hardship on Ghanaians. James Aveji reports.
After a short adjournment, Parliament returned with the Energy and Finance Committees recommending that the Energy Sector Levy Amendment Bill be taken on a certificate of urgency. But the minority opposed the process, criticizing the majority of betraying Ghanaians and trying to impose hardship on them by taxing fuel products by 1 Ghana cedi per litre, and even staged a walkout.
The minority is vehemently against this particular tax. Vehemently. This government, in abolishing the taxes, was giving you something in your hand with the left hand, and they were going to take it back from your hand with their right hand. And not only take it from your hand, but take what was in your pocket in addition. Mr. Speaker, I am challenging your decision on the voice vote and inviting you to a head count.
All those against the motion, rise on your feet to be counted.
Eventually, the bill got passed, even in the absence of the minority.
Honorable members, the Energy Sector Levy Amendment Bill 2025 is duly read and passed for the 3rd time.
The new 1 Ghana cedi per litre of fuel kicks in after the president has sent his signature to the bill. James Savage, Parliament House, Accra.
Well, we'll soon hear what some of you are saying about this levy, but first let's get more understanding on it from data analyst Kofi J, who is also a member of our research desk. Kofi, did the finance minister give any hint of this in the budget?
Well, Maame, so it wasn't explicit in the budget, but he actually gave a hint that he was seeking some form of amendment to 10 acts, and the energy sector levy was one of the 10 acts that the finance minister was seeking some form of amendment to. But that 1 cedi per litre was not quoted in the budget, but we know that the amendment was captured in the 2025 budget under the ESLA Amendment Act.
All right. And do we know how much this is supposed to rake in?
Well, so government, in fact, is expecting upper bound around 5.7 billion Ghana cedis, and lower bound we're estimating maybe somewhere around 5.5 billion, Ghana cedis. But fresh data that we have from the Ghana Revenue Authority shows that, I mean, this is not a new levy.
Yes,
it's been ESLA has been in the picture since 2016, and we have done the math, and since 2016 we've been able to rake in some 29 billion Ghana cedis from ESLA, and that was actually supposed to solve our energy sector crisis. So if ESLA has been collected since 2016, then why do we need another levy around this? And that's the question that people are asking. That if you really use ESLA for its purpose,
what it's supposed to do,
why do we need another revision to place 1 cedi per every liter of fuel that we buy at the pumps?
All right, thank you so much, Kofi. We can now listen to what some of you are saying about this levy.
1 Ghana cedi slap on Ghanaians. I think, as much as I agree that it's another issue that will affect our pocket, we shouldn't also lose sight of the fact that the finance minister is doing everything possible to bring the CD-dollar relationship down.
Not the one politicians here, what is the Nabra to do? We should do something about
1 cedi to end the problems in the energy sector. I think, I'm not saying it's the right thing, but we just have to share in the pain so that everything will be okay for us.
Meanwhile, the Energy Minister John Jinapor has justified the sector levy amendment bill, arguing it is prudent fiscal intervention necessary to stabilize the country's energy sector.
This is not actually to pay for legacy debt. What we are doing is that we've studied the system, we've done the analysis in the energy sector, and the basic truth and fact is that the liquid fuels that we buy currently is not part of the tariff structure. And so when you and I pay for electricity, even if ECG were to collect the money 100% today, none of that money would go into the procurement of liquid fuel. Meanwhile, we require over $1 billion this year alone to procure liquid fuel.
While Ghana's year-on-year inflation for May 2025 has dropped to 18.4%, down from 21.2% in April. According to fresh data from the Ghana Statistical Service, this marks the first time inflation has fallen below 20% in 39 months, breaking a run that began in March 2022. The May Consumer Price Index shows a broad-based decline across nearly all 13 contributing divisions, with transport costs leading the drop, followed by a reduction in food inflation. While the development signals a cooling of inflationary pressures, the rate still sits well above the Bank of Ghana's target range of 8% plus or minus 2. Ghana is still recovering from its economic crisis in a generation with setbacks in key sectors like cocoa and gold. But the latest data points to a gradual return to stability. And Kofi J is still with me on this. Kofi, we understand that there were recommendations given by the government statistician. Take us through that.
Well, so Maame, on the food and non-food inflation, the leading contributors, there was a significant decline in both food inflation from 25% in April to 22.8%, while non-food inflation has actually went to 14.4% from 17.9% in the previous month. We understand that what is really driving the inflation down at the moment is because of the transport component. And surprisingly, Greater Accra recorded the second lowest inflation if you look at it on the regional spectrum.
All right. Thank you so much, Kofi AJ, for that insight. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joe 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. When we return, we have sports, and also pharmaceutical companies in Ghana announce 5 to 15% price cuts on essential medicines across the country, as they say the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi had already eased import costs in a sector heavily reliant on foreign currency.
And we also been told clearly that in days and in possibly weeks, this is going to take its effect. Latest by end of June.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, no, papa no no, Alcasa. Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get Sumo, Rambo, and get Sumo Super. And the Polytank, we did. Polytank, papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, no, papa no no, Alcasa. Always the best.
Dear parents and wards, here are guidelines for school selection. Candidates who wish to enter SHS or TVET schools must, with guidance from their parents or guardians and school authorities, select 7 schools in total, 5 main, 2 alternative schools. Your 5 main schools should be ranked in order of preference, with the first being the most preferred choice. Your 2 alternative schools should be selected from Appendix 3 for consideration if not placed in any of your 5 main choices. Select programs and residential preferences for each choice of school, 3 boarding and 2 day. Candidates may select one Category B school as boarding and another Category B school as day. Candidates may select one Category C school as boarding and another Category C school as day. Note that a candidate placed in any of their choices will not be changed. Please note that candidates cannot choose more than one school from Category A. They cannot select more than 2 schools from Category B. They may select all 5 schools from Category C, 3 boarding, 2 day, and candidates who wish to offer purely TVET programs must select all 5 TVET institutions from Categories A, B, and C as day or boarding. Candidates who wish to offer program choice about future job prospects such as engineers, physicians, astronauts, etc. must select STEM or science in all 5 choices from Categories A, B, and C as day or boarding. The school selection form must be signed off by a parent or guardian and submitted to the head teacher of the JHS attended. Kindly note that parents or guardians must keep a copy of the school selection form.
Welcome back to the Midday News. We have sports.
Yes, I was saying MFL. So, Maame, Sports and Recreation Minister Kofi Adams, he is calling for tougher sanctions against individuals involved in matchday violence to help retain fan interest in domestic football. This follows violent scenes during the Premier League game between Basake Holy Stars and Nations FC, which eventually led to the match being abandoned. Back to you.
Thank you, Mubarak. Now, information coming in. Thomas Andiowusu, aide to Chairman Wontumi, has been convicted of corruption this morning by the High Court for bribery in the case of the Republic versus Charles Bisu. And Elton Broby is here with me with more on this. Elton, what are we learning?
So, Maame, this is in relation to the Tiger IPI investigation, Galamsey fraud, part 1, in which Mr. Bisu and Mr. Andy were alleged to have engaged in corruption and bypass procedure to allow people to get license to mine illegally. He's accused of paying 15,000 cedis bribe to Mr. Bisu. The court today accepted his plea agreement with the OSP and sentenced him to 500 penalty units, which is equivalent to 6,000 cedis, and to pay a restitution to the state in a sum of 200,000 Ghana cedis. His name has now been struck out of the charges of corruption of a public officer and accepting bribe bribes to influence a public officer has also withdrawn.
Thank you so much, Elton. Now, once discarded as trash, plastic is now paying the bills for some of Accra's most determined workers. At Old Lavender Hill in Koligono, a former dumping ground, is now a place of new beginnings. Among them is Victoria Kugali, a plastic collector, a mother of 3 who is rebuilding her life on plastics. Jemima Ando reports for Climate Focus.
Victoria Kugali never imagined she would find her job in a place most people avoid, plastic recycling. She came to Accra from the Volta region not to sort trash, but to rebuild her future.
I was a student, but I couldn't complete my education. I came here trying to find something to do so that I can continue with my education, but all happened when I became pregnant, so I have to stop. And now I'm a mother of 3 kids.
With no one to turn to and no stable income enough to feed her family, Victoria tried many things. The money was never enough until she found work at Asante Recycling Enterprise.
As I entered into the recycling business, I think things are okay for me now. I can take out the kids. Though it's not easy for me, but it's far better than the other one that I've engaged myself in. And moreover too, I've done this work for 6 to 7 years now. Here, I'm a worker, then I'm an assistant supervisor.
Victoria is one of dozens working here at Old Lavender Hills in Koligono, where plastic waste has turned into jobs and a cleaner environment. Once a symbol of Accra's waste management failure, this area is now home to one of the capital's most impactful recycling efforts. In a city where plastic often blocks drains and litters the streets, every bottle recycled here helps make Accra cleaner. For women like Victoria, recycling is not just survival, it is a source of pride. She still dreams of becoming a nurse or an accountant.
I've also gathered some small money that I've been using to be buying the goods, because me working for someone to pay me alone cannot cater for my kids. It will not suffice me, so I decided at least when I have like maybe 1,000, I can buy goods and I can get interest, and through that interest I can save some and I can also use some to cater for my kids and myself. I wish I can continue with my education. There are works in Ghana that when we do, we can cater for ourselves and our kids without even burdening ourselves to travel outside. This Ghana here, we can work here and take care of our kids.
In a country still battling plastic pollution and youth unemployment, Victoria Kugali is not just sorting waste, she's rebuilding her life, one bottle at a time. Jemima Anders report read to you.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
We quickly see what's trending. Jackie, what's trending?
Well, one Ghana city is trending after Parliament passed the energy sector levy last night. A lot of people doing comparison with 1%, 1 CD, and of course, ESLA trending alongside that.
At least the good news is that GPRT is not going to increase, transport prices.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how we end this afternoon's bulletin here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Maame Thompson. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.